This week, we walk down memory lane and look back at some of our favorite lessons, reflections, and moments to remember from marriage counseling. We also talk about couple mentorship. I do hope you enjoy. Hi guys! Welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Dinyoko Mokale.
I am Tukulo Mokale.
And this is Journey with the Mokale. Today we have an interesting topic that we've sort of wanted to share for some time. And my husband reminded me about it, and I thought, I guess it was time now that we sort of share our journey in terms of marriage counseling. So yeah, we basically just want to share lessons, and something that maybe with people just getting married and summer coming up very soon or spring coming up soon, when you start visiting your marriage plans, that is something that you could just go back to in terms of your journey into marriage. For us, we did a marriage counseling the year of our marriage when we were about to get married. So the Lobola journey started off in 2014, and that's when we decided to bring the cows home, and that whole process and journey ended off in 2016, where in our culture we call it Hohlabisa Mahadi. Am I saying it right? Yeah. And that's when the completion of the Lobola price for the bride was completed and officially
traditionally
married. We're officially traditionally married in 2016 November. Right? And that was done. It was a beautiful day with close family and friends, because it was really a small celebration, because we knew that the following year we would then get married in 2017. And we decided that we wanted to do marriage counseling from January, the year of our marriage, because we would get married in December, on the 22nd of December. So we then decided we're going to do marriage counseling starting in Jan and have one session per month with our pastor, because based on our church, and maybe you can come in, before you get married, you have to meet with our pastor probably 3 times.
I think minimum of 3 times.
Yes.
To do
to get ready for your wedding day.
A little bit of marriage counseling here and there, but we thought we wanted more than that. We thought, because we knew our pastor is somebody who's been in our lives for
our father,
since we were young. So we were like, hey man, we get so much wisdom from him, and why not just get onto this journey and start it with him taking us through it for the year. And the plan was to do it also beyond. So we've been there even after we got married. Yeah. So we thought it was, and it's something that has helped us a lot. Yeah. A lot of what we do in our marriage is really coming from the lessons that we picked up there. Yeah.
So, but I think we must, going into the sessions that we had for marriage counseling. So I guess going into any session or anything, everybody's always got their expectations. Everybody's got their thinking around how this is going to pan out, because I'm going to be honest and say, when I went into counseling session, I didn't think that we would go in there and uproot some of the things I struggled as a child. Right? Because you realize that when you get married, a level of yourself has to die.
True.
But you don't forget about who you are, but you remember that some of it you're going to have to start compromising. You're going to start changing. You're going to start evolving, because now you're moving from being a girlfriend or whatever into being a wife. But there is that change management that is done through the guidance of counsel. That is necessary. So for me, I went in there, I'm getting married, and we were asked tough questions in the very beginning. And I remember the first session that we had with our pastor, he asked us, can you remember? He asked us, why do you want to get married?
Sure, yeah.
Why do you want to get married? And he asked us that, and he asked us do I love you enough to get married to you and to spend the rest of my life with you?
Yeah.
And when somebody else asks you that question, you don't necessarily think. You normally say yes.
You can't answer it.
Yeah.
The way you want to all the time. You have to think hard about it.
And with our spiritual father, it's a bit different, because every time he'll ask you something, you need to get yourself right. You need to get yourself right and answer appropriately, because that level of authority, it's different.
Yeah.
It's not like when you say, baby, I want to get married. Would you marry me? And yes, I'll get married to you. But with him, you have to check yourself. Because I think with your father, when your father asked you, when you went to your father, that's another question. It felt like that, where he was asking you, so, are you done with all the girls?
Yeah, I was expecting him the first time I told him that I want to get married to you, and I would like, and he sat back. I thought he was gonna say, hey boy, I'm proud of you, and he sat back and he looked at me quietly, and he said, so Mushiman, that's what he calls me. Have you seen all of them now? Is this the one? And I honestly kept quiet for some time and
took a moment.
And I was like, yes, I think no. This is the one. You know, and with that, he didn't ask anything anymore. He says, okay, I'll call your uncle and we'll arrange. So when are you ready? When will you be ready? And so I gave him an indicative date, and he wrote the letter. And that was it. So it's what marriage counseling does is to really give you an opportunity to think, premarital counseling, to really think about this choice that you have just made, and to really come to terms with the changes that you'll need to undertake, the sacrifices that you need to make. And also, sometimes it'll enable you to say, okay, yes, I made the right decision. Sometimes it may be that you say, maybe let me fix 1, 2, 3 first.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it enables you to reveal who you are
to each other,
yeah,
and to somebody else.
Yeah.
And that external person, whether it's your pastor or whether it's a psychologist or whoever, you are then able to look in the mirror for yourself as an individual and to see if that is possible to map a way together.
Yeah.
Because it gives you that space. And the one thing in the journey of travel that we went through when we're doing our marriage counseling, we would some days come in there very upset at each other.
Yeah.
Because remember, that was the year of our marriage, and we planned our wedding end to end.
Yeah.
And then obviously had suppliers, and we coordinated everything because I'm an eventing specialist in my next life, and I can coordinate everything, and to the T. I've got that attention to detail and everything. So I wanted to sort of put it together myself. So we were fighting about everything and anything to do with our wedding.
Guest, list,
all of it.
Yeah. Have you done this? No, I haven't.
You haven't,
Yeah.
I would project manage literally.
Even me.
Even you. So that's what I'm saying, that it was important, because we would come there with that thing, or I would come there and I would go in and I'm gonna tell that Demoruti, because you are not doing this.
Yeah.
You and at that time communication was such a hard one for us.
Yeah.
It's still a challenge there and there, the listening and things like that are still a challenge from there and there, but at that point in time it was still,
it was rough. We were really
forming
rough.
phase. It was a forming phase.
Yeah.
So and I don't know if anybody can resonate with that, but I wish, actually, when in reflection, that I wish we had started marriage counseling earlier.
True. I agree with you 100%.
Premarital
I think
counseling.
I think we would have had a better first year of marriage if we did it.
I agree. And I think it's for us.
Yeah.
Because and I think and another encouragement to, if you feel or that you guys are about to get married, about to go into that stage, it is advisable that you start seeking counsel.
It is. Yeah. Because what it helps to do is that, you see, when it's just the two of you, your ideas, your expectations sort of take rule over what the real thing is. But when you go get counsel, your perception changes about yourself in the marriage, and about the next person, and your expectations are sort of adjusted to a real level. So how you deal with each other will be dictated by how you see each other.
Because you know why I'm saying reality, and you're coming up with a good point, is that with, you know, when we start dating, there's the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
It goes on, right? And for some people, it never ends. We live in honeymoon, sure. You know, and I think there's a point where you need that level of reality to tell you that this is what's going to happen. This is how your life is going to change.
Yeah.
Because you don't think about it.
Yeah, you
honest to God, you don't think about the afterwards. You think about, okay, now we're planning our wedding.
It's nice.
It's fun. It's fun. The in love is high up there. Because what marriage counseling does for you, it helps you to help you with the reality and the real life and the afterlife of the wedding
planning,
the joling,
and the cutting the cake.
Yes, the how to sustain your lives together.
Yeah.
The communication lessons come in.
Yep.
The sex talk comes in.
Yeah.
Because I remember actually when we talk about the sex talk, because it's a topic that I don't like to talk about, but I want to talk about the day Daddy said, I wanted to literally hide underneath. Like, this is just spiritual Father Day, and he's talking about sex, and he's telling you how important sex is.
Love that man. I love him.
In your marriage. And I remember that day, he asked, like, you had to answer.
Yeah.
You had to be so vulnerable with yourself. And he was talking about sex, and I expressed how much you always want sex, and my goodness, it's a lot, or whatever the case is. And remember, he was saying that, my lady, where else is he supposed to go and get it, my lady? I remember those words.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, that in reflection of that, those words will continuously drive even those tough days.
Yeah.
Even those days when you're like, oh, I'm tired, or whatever the case is, that level of wisdom is important to remind you of who you are, or what you signed up for.
Yeah, because if it was just me saying to you, where else must I get it?
It doesn't.
Then it wouldn't have come out well. So sometimes some things need to come from a different place outside this, over and above the mentorship and the counsel that we received there. We have also been fortunate to have older couples, you know, that we would that we know. Some are family, cousins, some are really people we've come across from work and the likes. And so it would be wise of you during your dating to identify that kind of a couple. You know, it can be your uncle, it can be your aunt. Have those conversations with them, and listen to the surprises that you will get about marriage. Because I can tell you, if you don't do that, you'll never grasp what is needed for marriage.
Yeah, and you talk about something so, I think, close to my heart, about mentorship. Whether individual or couple, and specifically couple. And I feel like we've said this before, and we might have been articulated differently in another video.
True.
Where we spoke about the importance of mentorship, right? And sometimes, I think in the time that we're living in, we are very quick to sort of want to be mentored by people that we see on Instagram that look great, that look like they have it figured out, because we maybe don't have close examples from our perspective, right? Because for us, it's nothing that we've sort of consciously seeked to say, I want those people to mentor us. Or those people are better suited, or they look like they're great. Let's go, let's run to them. It was within our environment. Because and I think that's where the reality needs to set into our minds, because we get so caught up in what looks good. And we think that the stuff that looks good is the stuff that is going to help us live or maintain our relationship. Whereas we've got people that are immediately close to us, whether it be cousins, whether it be sisters, and that can actually mentor you through their lives. You don't have to explicitly say, please mentor me, or whatever the case is. You need to be very, very present in your relationship enough to say, that's not what I want from my relationship. That's what I want from my relationship. I like that. And I'm going to draw close to my sister so that my sister can show me how she did it, because I'm struggling with this. And
maybe it's just finances.
Maybe it's just
from another couple. Another couple is really lovemaking.
The lovemaking.
These guys seem to
because there is. We have those people that are close to us. Like I'll make an example, like with Aya Malika and Lilo Paul. Guys, those people bajola. And you look at them, you're like, yo, baby,
this is us.
This is Mujol. Because we then learn from that. We must
you pick that.
You pick that up. You don't say, you like, baby, we must not forget about us. We've never even had sat on a table, the four of us, and sat and say, mentor us, how do you do Mjolo? But we draw those lessons that you can see that they prioritize their relationship. Because they've got big careers, they're busy in their separate lives, they've got a family, they've got friends, but you can see that they remind us that we must take time for ourselves. Even type saying they do that
true.
On point. They take time. And that is, for me,
it is a form of mentorship.
It's a form of mentorship, because you're learning from your friends, you're learning from people that are close to you, and sometimes, yes, you might need a day out with a couple where you guys can talk, share ideas, and so forth, and that are close to you, because those are the people that are within our reach or close to us, our friends, or whatever the case is. So I would encourage that you use people that are close to you to draw the lessons and do that.
And another thing is that if you like the choosing of a mentor which is based on just liking people and whatnot can be dangerous, because sometimes some people can mentor you out of context. Or
want to pour, or see that your relationship is doing so well, or you guys have the right things, and then derail you or move you away from. So discernment is always key.
Sometimes good advice is not always
good for
everyone. So I can give you good advice based on my circumstances and experience, and you find your circumstances are far different. And you require a different angle. So you need to. First, I'll always say, pray for a mentor. Pray that you receive what God is wanting you to receive from mentorship.
So, I think the other thing that I want us, maybe we might even close with or whatever. I think we must just note one of our top lessons that we sort of took out from counseling, that we want to share to encourage somebody that's trying to see is it really worth it? I didn't do it. Should I revisit it or whatever? Because the other thing for us, when we had our first year of marriage, and how we feel that we could have actually benefited from actually going pre the first year, the 1 year that we went, is that our first year of marriage was very difficult in terms of just the change. It kept, a lot of things changed out of plan. It wasn't along the lines of our expectations or whatever. And we went back to get counseling from our pastor because we're not agreeing based on how we've seen our lives, whatever, and we're really, really struggling in terms of always arguing about the same thing,
aligning.
right? Or aligning. So we had to go back, and which is another thing that, be it you think that marriage counseling can go on forever. You can always have a place where you can separately go or go together as a couple. Now you're parents. Now life is changing. And that's what we did with our pastor, that when we were about to be parents, we went to him to say, this is happening now. What do we do? We're excited, great, but it's a change. It's another change that we wanting you to help us with, because I mean, that's what we felt.
The first, I think, and most important for me was to remember that I am human and that you are human. So in this journey, we will both make mistakes. You know, that I think for me that is key. And that my saying you are human applies in my realistic expectations. And
of me.
Yes, of you, and being also realistic as a man, not to put pressure on myself whenever I cannot achieve certain milestone. You know, so that's one. Two, I learned that we must always be conscious of the fact that we come from very different upbringings, and those upbringings will creep up all the time, and we will clash in how we do, say, expect things to be done. So I must be sensitive to the fact that we are different.
I remember those words.
You know,
he kept on saying the word sensitive.
Yes, we must be sensitive to. Oh, also yes, another one, the very important one, I guess, was that I must be sensitive to your feelings.
Yes, I remember that.
In everything that I do, you know, I must be sensitive to your feelings. Even when you are fighting me about something, I must think about how you're feeling, and sort of being empathetic. Is it sympathy or
empathy?
Empathy, yes. Be empathetic to how they're feeling, even when they are angry. So sometimes, not that
you don't understand maybe why I'm angry about something.
But at
because
least try to understand how they feel. So those are the three, I think, important lessons that I picked up. So all of those, especially the sensitivity to you, will impact how I do things in the house, for example. You know, because I think about how you feel. Yeah.
I think my biggest lesson, and maybe as I talk I'll remember the others, but I think my biggest lesson, in addition to what you say, was becoming one.
Yeah.
And it's something that has, after learning that with a marriage counseling, we meditated on our scripture, which I think it's Matthew 19, 5 to 6. I hope I'm saying the right one.
It is,
yeah. And that became the driver of our wedding plan, everything. Because I was project managing, I was doing all of it. You would see, I made sure that you see it. You see that scripture, everything, whether it be an invitation, whether it be a program, whether it be a table setting, whatever, that scripture or a wedding website or whatever the case is, it was there. It was explicit, because from our discussions, our pastor, I had to sort of decrease and learn the submission that we read about, that I felt that I still needed to learn in that process. For me, that becoming one required me to understand what submission means. Doesn't mean about disempowering who I am, but it meant submitting fully to God, so that if I do that, it would be easy to submit to my husband. You know, and same goes with him, and how he broke down that for me in terms of the meaning of submission, and the understanding of it, and then therefore ministering to my heart and my spirit. it made it easier for the becoming one, that we are in this together. And you said it in one of our other videos, that when I go out into the world, I'm a representation of you. Whatever I say is a representation of who the both of us are. And that was key for me, that this is what marriage really means. It's dying to self. It's service to somebody else, not yourself. It's really that. And be it we get that right, the two of us servicing each other. There will always be somebody to service you. Because I'm there to serve you. You're here to serve me. There'll never be a point where I'll forget who I am, or I'll forget my individuality, because you are there to say, babe, do this. Don't forget that. Baby, take time off. I'm sure you're tired. How's things going at work? Always there being my cheerleader, because if we do that for each other, we will never forget who we are.
And I think just my last words is that maybe this idea of marriage counseling and mentorship and receiving counsel into your marriage or yourself is, maybe think about this. In order to get a qualification, you read different books, you attend different classes, you get different modules. Right? So
learnings from different
but
places.
For one qualification. You got what I'm saying? And that's why we're saying you cannot get counsel from one place. Your marriage cannot receive wisdom from one place. Even you as a person, you can't get it from one place.
It starts with God, and then
God will point you to the people, different couples for different reasons. But all of that will become one beautiful journey. You know? So that's for those that are looking to get married. Maybe look at it that way. There's a lot of good couples you're surrounded by. There's a lot of good
lessons that you can draw from different people.
There's divorced people who are now introspecting and saying, hey, that can give you great advice.
You cannot
don't
mess with the wisdom of somebody that has been divorced, that has gone through it, that will tell you where they did wrong or where they could have done right in retrospect to where you are. That is top-notch wisdom.
So look at it that way, and gather as much. You can never know enough.
You can never know enough. So we're going to stop it there and say thank you for watching and subscribing to our channel.
Thank you.
Really need to shout out to the guys that are always here. Notification gang. Whenever we pull out, even though some days we just come a day later, you're always there waiting on us, guys. We love you. We appreciate you so much. Like, I cannot stress that enough. How your support has helped this channel grow. It's growing, and we're wanting to get it to other levels, and it's only through you. Thank you so much, and till next time.